Peace.
Peace.
This is Joshua Miller Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real2reel360.
Uh-huh.
K-Wise,
Peace, God.
bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Peace.
Peace and blessings to Allah's mighty 5% nation of God's nurse, to all the human families on the planet Earth. We bid you a love, peace, and happiness and high salute. I am DJ KY's back in the building. Welcome to Real2reel360. We got a lovely one for you. Trust me, this is very interesting. I can't wait. I'm ready and excited to bring on our special guest. But before we introduce this beautiful songstress, I got to bring on my brother, my co-host with the most. All right, y'all know who he is. He needs no intro, but it's always the right. Let's roll.
Am I the meanest?
Show enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Show enough.
But who am I?
Joshua Miller Law.
Who am I?
Joshua Miller Law.
I can't hear you.
Joshua Miller Law, Mr. PhD.
Peace. We back in the building again. It's the dynamic duo. We back together again. My brother went on a vacation last week. You know what I'm saying? A week and a half, I might say. Celebrate his birthday. Now, I don't know nobody who celebrate no birthday for 10 days. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. He's back in the building. And for all those who don't know, yes, he's a Capricorn. Now,
Absolutely.
Now, today we have a young lady that is a national recording artist. She's coming out of Tallahassee, Florida. She's a third generation country music singer. She has graced us and blessed us with her presence, and we're definitely as interested in her story. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your hands together for the one and only Adrianna Freeman.
Hello, everybody. Hi. How's everybody doing?
Everybody is well. Shout out to Ayana Patrice. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello.
Now, I want to get to it because this is going to be a very intriguing interview because of growing up in the way that you grew up and being trained to do what you're doing right now. But if you don't mind, just introduce yourself to all our followers, likers, and subscribers at this moment in time.
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. And I want to thank you guys for having me on your show. My name is Adrianna Freeman. And you had it right. I am a third generation country music singer. I grew up in North Florida. And I currently now live in St. Petersburg, Florida. But I'm still a Florida girl. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. I love it. So that's just a little introduction about me. But you ask any question you want to ask, and I'll try to give you a good answer.
Well, this being a country music singer coming from Tallahassee, Florida, what was, that life like for you, growing up in a place that has a gumbo of different cultures? Because Florida itself has a various different kind of people there. You have Haitians, Jamaicans, Colombians, Cubans, all these different things. So it's like a gumbo. So what was it about the country music that attracted you the most?
Well, again, it just has to go back to my upbringing. So my grandfather was a former sharecropper. And
Mhm.
so he wanted to be a country music singer. I mean, he really, really did. But he had 8 children and he had a farm that he was working and everything. And so what he wasn't able to do that, and it really wasn't going to happen for him, because you can imagine how tough that would have been for a man like him back then. So he wanted to be one. He wasn't going to make it, but he instilled the love of country music into my father, Ed Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
And so my father actually went out there and tried to do it for a little while. He played bass, and he really wanted to, go to Nashville and cut a record. That's what him and my grandpa wanted to do. And they actually did that, and that's a funny story about that record that grandpa cut. But mama got pregnant with me, and dad was starting to realize that, he might need to come up with another way of providing for his family, because the farming stuff was like the whole family, everybody was living off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't see ends meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to open up his own business, and he's a general contractor today, but he started out with just being a simple framer. But my dad really, really instilled the love of country in me, because,
Mm-hmm.
his dad didn't make it. He didn't make it. So he was like, my daughter's going to make it. And so he said that he heard me singing one day,
Mm-hmm.
and he listened, and he was like, she really sounds good. He's like, so he started infusing the love of country music. And my mom also listened to country, but she also listened to different types of music, because you're talking about that melting pot. So my mom listened to some blues stuff. She also liked rock music, so like she liked Cream, things like that. And so she would infuse a little bit of that in there, and then I'm constantly getting country as well, because that's all my daddy would play. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is what you get out of that. So I believe that children can be a product of their environment. And so that was the environment that was created for me.
Now, with that environment, and shout out to Kimberly Isaiah from Starbuck Promotions. She has one of, and you know what I'm saying, she's a part of one of the largest trail rides in the state of Georgia. Now, we talk about growing up in country music, but you started out in church,
I did. I
started
did. I
honing
did.
your skills in church.
Yes.
Um, what was that experience for you, like really taking the lead, singing, coming from church, working these spots that you was working, trying to hone your skills as an artist?
Well, so I have to take it back to one of my first gigs. My first gig was actually playing in front of my grandparents' fruit market. They had a roadside fruit stand, which is still there to this day. And
Mm,
so my dad had this idea. He would put me out there, and I was little, so I had a little ukulele, and my mom would put me in a little yellow dress with little bows on my hair, and I would sit there and sing songs like A Yellow Rose of Texas. So
mhm,
that's where I first started,
mhm,
kind of honing my skills, learning to be comfortable singing in front of perfect strangers. And then, of course, we were, we're a God fearing family. So we went to church every
mhm,
Sunday, every Wednesday, and every time the church door was open, my mama seemed to have us there.
mhm,
So we would sing in a choir, and a lot of the people in my family did sing, but it was something funny about my voice. And that's what they all said. They're like, there's something funny about your voice. Your voice is funny. And I
mhm,
didn't understand what it was. So I would cry, because I didn't think that because nobody would ever let me sing the lead parts. Oh, they always made me sing backup. And I was just like, well, I want to sing the lead. And I didn't understand what they were saying that was strange about my voice was actually me mimicking what I was hearing from the country music singers that I would be listening to all the time. So
mhm,
I didn't sound like my other cousins sound sometimes, because they were listening to different types of music, and I had this little funny thing in my voice. And so what they would let me do though was sing by myself.
mhm,
And so that was a very interesting thing. And that taught me to not be afraid to open my mouth and project, and be okay to carry my own self, even when I don't have a whole big old choir behind me or everything singing behind me. It's just me singing. So it was a little interesting, and sometimes a little mean, because they're like, you sound funny. So it's like, when you're a kid, it kind of hurts your feelings a little bit, but that's okay. God had a plan for that funny sound.
Now, you started out writing poetry and turning poetry into music.
Yes, yes, yes.
How easy is that transition as an artist? Because I noticed that a lot of artists do or have started out writing poetry, and that's
Um,
how they start learning how to write songs.
yes. So when I was little, I would just make up little rhymes. That's how it
Mhm.
kind of started. And but then I'd start singing that rhyme, because I'd be
Mhm.
playing my ukulele or guitar or whatever I was doing at the time. And then I would just kind of like make this little rhyme and then I would sing it. And so
Mhm.
that's how I first kind of got started. But I didn't really become a I didn't write my real first song till I was in my teenage years. I think I was like maybe between 13 and 15 or something like that.
Mhm.
But you know, that's when I started to realize that I was like, if I take this rhyme or take this poem and, make it a little bit longer and maybe put like a story or a meaning behind it, I have a song here. And so that's kind of how it started for me. It was just, taking little rhymes or little things I would say around the house. My dad said when I was little that I would just make up a song on the spot. Like he would be like,
Mhm.
"Okay, you want to make up a song? You want to sing? Yeah, I want to sing." And he's like, "Okay, here, you take the mic and you sing." And so I would just make up something right then and there. But that also, I guess, gave my dad the inkling that there might be something really special about her, because it's not just that she's mimicking what she's hearing, she's also taking it and making it something new and something different, and she's young doing this. So it kind of gave him like, aha.
Right.
Maybe I didn't make it, but maybe my daughter can. So that's kind of what started it all.
Definitely. Now, the first time that you went into the studio and made a record or cut a record, you know what I'm saying? Was you nervous? Did you, you know what I'm saying? What producers that you worked with, and what did they say to you to get you through that moment?
Oh Lord. Okay. The first time I went to a studio,
Hmm.
was just to do like a little demo thing. That's what it was. Just to get
Hmm.
something down. And so I was singing some cover tunes, because at that time I didn't feel very strong about my writing ability, and I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not that great of a
Right.
writer. So and I was young too, so it was okay for me to sing cover tunes, because when you play bars and stuff like that, they don't want to hear a bunch of original stuff unless you're some big star. And I was not. I was just a little country girl by the way.
Hmm.
So they wanted me to be able to sing songs that were playing on the radio. So I needed to hone that skill and learn, the standard stuff so that I could entertain folks. But that wasn't that bad when I first did that, because I had a reference. I could listen to this other artist and hear what they did, and so I would just mimic that. Now, when I had my first situation where I was working with a producer, that was very eye opening. That was not easy, actually, because I hadn't had anybody yell at me before about singing something, and, understanding how it needed to be laid down, and all these different parts and all the stuff that needs to go into it. So that came with time. And the better I got and the more comfortable I got behind the mic in the studio, because studio singing is very different than you performing live. And people don't really
Yes.
understand that. Um, so you have to bring something within yourself to do a performance, right, to make
Mhm.
that song really stand out, to perform it. Whereas on stage you have the energy of the crowds and you have the energy of other people to play off of. When you're in there singing that song, you ain't got all of that. It's just you and that microphone and a few people in there. So that became even more comfortable for me as I went through it. But I've worked with some tough people before. I think one of the most notable times that I had was, and this was when I was a lot older, and I've been doing it for a few years at that point. I caught the attention of Teddy Gentry. Now he is of the supergroup Alabama,
Hmm.
and so he's a founding member. And he heard me and was like, "Your voice is," he's like, "I mean, you're just about the strangest thing I've ever seen, but I really, really like it." And
Hmm.
so he wanted to help me. And so he took me into the studio. And so that was my real first time going into like $1 million studio where they got like the stone room, and then all the players showed up, because before I was singing the tracks, I
Hmm.
hadn't been there when they were actually cutting the songs like they
Hmm.
do in Nashville. So I got to see that whole process from start to finish and be a part of it. And that's when I really fell in love with it. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm going to do. But that was a very interesting thing. It really was, because having a producer, they have their ideas about what they want you to sing. You're like, "Eh, I don't do this way. And no, so you got to learn how to work with people in the studio and learn when something's not working and when what is working. So yeah, I mean, I've had some times in there.
Now, your first song, "Just a Girl," became the official theme for an organization out of Washington D.C.
Yes.
When you found out that they wanted to utilize "Just a Girl" as their official theme for their organization, what feeling was that for you as a new artist to be recognized by an organization in Washington D.C. that wanted your song to represent their organization?
Well, I mean, so at that time, I had been doing that for 12 years.
Hmm.
So when that break came, um, I would just, I was speechless, kind of like what I am now when it comes down to it. Because, when I cut the song, I was just feeling for all the kids that were out there. And it was just about abuse and unwanted children and understanding that, the little girls of today will be the women tomorrow, and we're all, on them and saying terrible things about them, and they don't have this and they don't have that. Well, nobody cared, and nobody cared to love them, and nobody taught them anything. So this is what you get. The world taught them. And so
Hmm.
I wanted to do something with that song. So I was very happy about it. The Christian Broadcasting Network actually picked it up as well. The 700 Club did a whole story on it. So I mean, that was a real accomplishment for me. And I was so glad to see it. I actually went around to a few of the orphanages that they have and just got to see some of the girls and talk to them. And, it is something to see. I mean, these people could be you, me, it could be anybody. They just were born in different situations. And so that really touched me a lot. And I went gun ho with that.
Definitely. Shout out to Ike Dirty. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing this evening? Thank y'all for tuning in. Now, the question that's on my mind is you went overseas to do some missionary work or some mission work,
I did.
right? And what was that experience about, like overseas, doing that, you know what I'm saying, on that journey? And how motivated from seeing what you saw over there to come back here and follow your dream? Shout out, boss lady.
So that I did that when I was a lot younger. My father wanted me to understand how privileged we have it in America. And sometimes the only way to do that is to go outside of your comfort zone to see how other people live so that you can respect when your mama tells you to go in there and put them clothes in the washing machine. You over here complaining about putting some clothes in the washing machine. Well, take yourself out there to the river and beat your clothes with a rock and see how you feel about washing clothes that way.
Right.
So I went with a group called Team Mania Ministries, and I went to several different places. I went to Russia, I also went to Thailand, and I went to India, and I got to see how different people were. And we had like a little thing where we would go to orphanages and hospitals and stuff, and we would get to sing and do like dramas for them. And I was singing one time, and this little girl came up to me, and she couldn't talk English, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. We did have a translator, and so she wanted to give me something, and she handed me this little, it was almost like a little scrunchy kind of frog toy or something. It was a little kid's toy. And she told me that she wanted me to have it because she thought my voice sounded like an angel. And I was like, oh my gosh, so I, hugged the little girl, and it moved me because I was able to move people with my voice. And I was like, I think this is really what I want to do for the rest of my life. I really want to try to pursue this. And so I believe that was when I decided, okay, I'm going to really try to be an artist, and I'm going to try to be the best artist that I can be. So that's when the bug kind of hit me. I was like, all right, dad, I think we can do this. I think I'm ready to try.
Is the ukulele your first instrument? Because you mentioned that as a child. That was your first instrument.
Yes, it was my
Look,
first instrument. It was, and I was the only little black kid in the class, and I know her. She was my second grade teacher. Her name was Dana Duke, and she had a little group called Duke's Ukes. And so I saw them playing at one of the little school recitals, and I was like, shoot, I want to do that. And so I asked my dad if I could start taking lessons, and he was like, heck yeah, you can start taking lessons. Of course, he wanted me to anyway. This was his plan all along. So I started taking ukulele lessons and then graduated to guitar. But yeah, that was the first instrument I played.
Do you still play today?
Okay, so here, I'm gonna put it out there. I
Put it out there.
do well enough to write a song, but I know well better that I'm gonna hire people who know what they're doing. I'm gonna stick to the singing, and I'm gonna let them do the play. But no, I do still play because I do write my own music, and the guitar is an inspiration for me. So you got to kind of put things out, and it's done horribly, and then I send it off to the people who really know what they're doing, and that's how we get the beautiful music we have today. That ain't me.
I don't think that it's done horribly. You know what I mean? Everybody has an ear for something. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
long as you put your best foot forward, then you're successful. Now, since being in country music, what are some of the things that you have faced, positive or negative, you know what I'm saying, that you have learned from, you know what I'm saying, in your career so far?
So I'll start with the positive because I think the negative is obvious, right?
Hmm.
It's obvious. But the positive thing is that at first when my dad first took, I mean, listen, this man took me into some of the roughest places in North Florida and South Georgia that you want to go. But he said that he was like, honey, you're gonna have to learn how to be able to entertain people who may not necessarily like you, or they're just looking at you some type of way because they don't think that you should be doing something or whatever. And he's like, but if you can win these people over, you're gonna be able to entertain, and you're gonna be able to be a phenomenal star.
Hmm.
So that's how I got my training. Like other people was like, oh well, I did this, and I was like, well, my dad took me to this little place called the Capri out in the backwoods somewhere, and that's where that's how I learned how to entertain people. But I learned that even though we were different, and even though I was afraid at first,
Hmm.
that once they saw and they heard that what I was doing was authentic,
Hmm.
they started to really, really fall in love with my music and my personality of being on stage. And so it became this thing that, we'd walk in a club and sometimes the music would stop playing because we the only two in there. But my dad's this big, big guy. My dad's, he's big, big, tall guy. And
Hmm.
so they would be like, oh, y'all was wondering where the singers are. They just got here. Let them come on up front and stuff. So it became like they they started battling around me. Like they were like, listen, this girl can sing. And so the hell with whatever y'all got to say. Let this little girl up here because she can actually do this. And so it became more of feeling like they were family and friends as opposed to feeling like I was so different or I didn't belong. Now,
Hmm.
that's not every situation that you're going to go into, especially if you're a person of color and you're
Hmm.
singing country music, right? And I
Hmm.
have been into situations where I was just like, wow, it didn't matter how good you are. Somebody is
Hmm.
still just gonna not like you for whatever their problem is. And then you have to also understand that there's nothing you can do about that. The hardest thing in the world is to change somebody's mind, right? And
Hmm.
so you can do your best, you can talk to them until you blue in the face. That doesn't mean that they're gonna change. And so all you can do is do you. And so that's what I continued to do. I was like, well, I'm just gonna be the best singer. I'm gonna be the best yodeler. I'm going to make sure that anytime I open this mouth that everybody's having a good time, and I am going to be excellent at whatever I do. And so that's how I've been able to get where I am and been able to make the connections and things that I've made in country music because I was there before a lot of these other girls were. Really, I
Hmm.
mean, shoot, I've been out there. Lord, when did I first go to? Like 2003. So it's
Hmm.
been a long time. It's been a very long time. But I knew it was coming, and I said we just have to keep doing it, keep breaking through, keep being great at it. And
Hmm.
eventually someone will take notice. Someone will take notice. And if they don't, then we're gonna keep singing until they do.
Definitely. Shout out to my light skinned sister Chanessa's in the building.
That's all,
Now,
Janessa.
Sweet tea.
BT. Now, when we talk about Nashville and all these different places, you have met some of the individuals that you know what I'm saying, you looked up to in the
Oh
music
yeah.
business.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
what was some of the things that they've said to you that helps keep you motivated while you're doing music?
I think the funniest thing was, and I was like, "Oh man, I've been doing this for so long." I've been. And they was like, "Well, how long you been doing it? What, about 10 years?" And I said, "Yeah, about 10." I was like, "Yeah, that's about right. It takes about that time." I'm like, "What? 10 years?" So, but yeah, no, they were. One thing I will say about country artists,
Hmm.
and that's because I've hung around a lot of them, and I've hung around mostly country artists. I haven't hung around a lot of other artists and a lot of other genres, so I can't speak for them. But I can speak for some of the country artists that I have hung around, and they are some really nice people. They're genuine and they're approachable. Like they
Hmm.
want to spend time with their fans. They want, and they want to help the younger people coming up. I mean, they
Hmm.
want you to do it the right way now. They want
Hmm.
they want you to go out there and earn your stripes just like they did.
Hmm.
But they do give you really good information, and the best stuff that I've gotten is, for me, they were like, just keep doing you.
Hmm.
Keep doing you. You show up, you sing what you want to sing, you be true and authentic to yourself, and everybody, they're going to come around. It was like,
Hmm.
because it's your gift is undeniable. So
Hmm.
you just have to keep showing up. And I was like, wait a minute, I mean, I'm showing up, I'm going here, I'm playing for tips, 4 hour sets. Like,
Hmm.
this is terrible. And they're like,
Hmm.
yes, but that's what it takes. I mean, if you really, really want it, you're gonna get out
Hmm.
there and beat the bushes. That's just how it is. You ain't no different than anybody else. Matter of fact, I had one tell me, he was like, "You think because you're African American that someone's just gonna give this to you?" They're like, "No." He was like, "Do you want to be the token? Do you want to be the novelty act, or do you want to be respected?" And he's like, "The way
Hmm.
you are respected is you get out here and you perform your butt off." He's like, "That is how you get respect." So I
Now
mean,
I got a question.
sure.
You yodel?
So you have to, so when you sing bluegrass music, there is a style form. I call it mountain soul. And
Hmm.
so there's like this, it's a stylistic form of singing, so sometimes it can come across as a yodel when you sing it. So that's kind of what we mean by it. It's a different style of singing when you approach bluegrass music. Very different than
What does
Oh,
it
others.
sound like? What does it sound like?
well, I'm interested in finding out what a yodel sound like.
Well, like I said, now it's not like yodeling. It's not that kind of stuff. It's
Okay,
see,
okay,
see,
because
I see where
that's
y'all
what I
mind going right now.
yeah, that's where I was going. I was like, yodel.
No,
I thought it was one of them joints. I
no.
didn't.
So, matter of fact, so this is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's by a woman named Patty Loveless.
Hot
And
seat,
she is the
hot
queen of
seat,
this woman can sing her butt
hot
off,
seat.
but Mountain Soul is what I call it. So I'll give y'all just a little bit so y'all understand what it is, okay?
We like a voluntary hot seat. Go for
Yeah,
Listen, hey,
yeah.
listen, this girl
it.
is always ready. That's what I know. Always. I don't know who watching this thing, so I'm always ready. But it goes a little bit something like this. In the deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky, that's the place where I trace my bloodline. So you hear the difference? It's how you hold and sustain the notes, and you
Mhm.
relax your throat. And so that's like a bluegrass kind of thing. And
Hey,
then
she did us cheat case. She only gave us a little bit. She did us cheat case.
hot.
She did us
Sprinkle a
cheat
little
case.
salt on.
Always
Yeah,
leave
She
them
hit us,
on the
she hit us
line.
with
But
the
I
hot
bet you
salt.
want to hear the rest of
yeah.
that song. I bet you want to
See,
hear the rest of that song.
see what I'm saying, Kate? She gave us a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
Miss Freeman, have you performed at the Grand Ole Opry?
Oh Lord. Ugh, no. And that is the one thing I regret in life, y'all, is because my granddaddy, he wanted to see me perform at the Grand Ole Opry, and I was trying. But when you're a new artist in town, you get with people. I mean, let me tell you something. The music business, you will lose your shirt. Everybody gonna tell you something. People gonna lie to you. People gonna take your money. It's hard to find the right group of people to help you when you're just starting out. And so unfortunately we fell into a lot of traps where things just weren't what they were. But my grandpa got sick, and we I he died before I was able to even make it to the level that I was when I worked with Teddy Gentry. And that's a regret that I
Mm.
have, because he never got to see me. But that does not mean that he's not going to be watching me from heaven when I do make it on that Grand Ole Opry stage. And I do plan on doing that. But no, I have not sung at the Grand Ole Opry yet, but I'm still hoping.
What is the most memorable performance you have had so far while you've been
Okay.
singing?
Okay. Okay. Yep. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay. So we were, I was on the Cracker Barrel tour, and we were working with Teddy. He had Best New Nashville, and it was a group of us, and we all were competing for a Best New Nashville title. I actually won that competition, if you guys wanted to know. This girl won.
Congratulations.
Um,
Congratulations.
thank you. But when you have Teddy Gentry from the supergroup Alabama playing bass for you and singing backup for little old you. Listen, I thought I was I was like, okay, all right. He is actually playing for me, for little old me. So
Mhm.
that just kind of warm, but that's just how down to earth Teddy was. And he knew he could use his star power to help, independents like us, and help a new artist like us get onto a bigger platform. I mean, we would never been able to play like a major stage or anything like that if it
Mhm.
wasn't for him, because we didn't have enough notoriety, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But he was able to put us out there. And so that whole experience took my breath away. It really, really did, because before then I was only performing for little like clubs and stuff. Maybe, I think the biggest one was like maybe 250 people could be in there,
Mhm.
something like that. But that's what I was used to doing, playing bars and honky tonks. So I'd never played like a big, massive arena or stage before ever. So that was the one time where I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Definitely. Now, with when the first time that you like really got on stage in front of the crowd, and it was your very first performance, was there jitters? How, what I mean? Was you nervous? I mean,
Yes.
what was that like for you?
Yes. Oh my gosh, y'all are bringing back memories. So my dad had taken me to a bar. It was in Wakulla, Florida.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Honey, we were in the car," and I was scared. And he was like, "Honey, okay, we either sing our way out or fight our way out." And I was like, "I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there." And he was like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. Daddy's got
Mhm.
you." So I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
I was scared to death. And at that time, I hadn't really sung with a band before, like a house band. So that was gonna be my first time doing that too.
Mhm.
And so I remember the guy called me up there, and he said, "What are you gonna sing?" I said, "I'm gonna sing Crazy by Patsy Cline."
Mhm.
And he asked me what key. I told him the key of C. And I had the microphone, but I'm telling you, my knees were knocking together. I was so scared. I mean, I was so scared. And I didn't realize it, that I had really bad stage fright back then.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what it was. I just knew that, I would get really hot and jittery, and my heart would be beating really fast. And I didn't realize that it was actually stage fright. It wasn't just being nervous, like it was legit fear of
Mhm.
being on the stage. And I think it was the fear, like they meant they won't like me or something like that. But my dad took me up there, and he was right there. They folded his big old arms with his cowboy hat on, and he sat right there, and he was like, that's my baby. Y'all better not say nothing." And so I sung the song, and uh I'm telling you, you could hear a pin drop.
Mhm.
Like, it's a bar.
Right.
Everybody's drunk and rowdy and crazy, but now everybody just stand up in here looking at me. And
Mhm.
so, that was a time where I was just like, man, okay, I might be really good, or at least better than whoever was up here before me, because clearly, they really like what they heard. But that kind of gave me the idea that I got to get over the stage fright, and the only way to do that is to continue to perform. That was the only way, is to continue to put myself in that situation.
Now, what is your preparation like now before a performance?
um well, now I've been doing it for so long, it's just kind of second nature.
Hmm.
But I do like to get a little quiet before I go on stage, and just have that little talk with God and be like, okay, God, now I'm gonna go out here. Please let something come out.
Hmm.
Please don't let me embarrass myself. Let these people love me, and let me be able to impart something positive on
Hmm.
them by using the gift that you've given to me. And so that's kind of what my little preparation is. And then I just go out there and do it, because I'm like, shoot, I don't know when I'm gonna get on another stage, man. You give me that microphone. Let me get up here and do my thing. I may not be up here very long. So, I'm always trying to, find a way to get on somebody's stage.
Hmm. Now, as a independent artist with the label, I mean, I might add, on a label as an independent artist, what are some of the obstacles you face? Because the label has various different genres of music that's there. So, as a artist, is it a battle? You know what I'm saying, to make sure that you're getting your music out and you're getting the right producers to work with you. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
or how does that work?
So, I've had a couple of things in the past that did not work out, and it was partly exactly what you're saying. It's like hurry up and wait kind of thing. And then while you're waiting, you're not able to do anything. You can't release any music. I mean, you're just locked up. You can't do anything. And so my dad and I decided that we were going to try the independent route,
Hmm.
because we wanted to take control of the creative side of the music. I wanted to release what I wanted to release. I wanted to release songs that I wrote,
Hmm.
and I wanted to work with producers and take a stab at producing some music myself, because I was like, I have it in my head, I have an idea, I have a plan for the song. But a lot of times when you're a new artist, since they don't trust you with that kind of stuff, and so
Hmm.
it can be a little frustrating for you, and also hinder your creative ability too, because you can only do what's inside of you. You can't do what somebody's trying to make you be. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You have to be yourself. So the interesting thing is, this time around, when I did this record, I was like, I'm just gonna put out what I want to put out. And
Hmm.
at this point, I ain't got nothing to lose.
Right.
And so I tried to go back to the Nashville route, but it just seemed like that big old thing was still there. And the door that was open for me was the R&B and hip hop world. They were very interested in Black people in country music, and I think we have to thank Beyonce for that,
Hmm.
because what she did was open up people's eyes to what was
Hmm.
going on there. And with her
Hmm.
star power, I mean, everybody's going to pay attention when she does something. So that shedded light on situations there. And so I think what happened is, the Black community realized that there are country artists that are out there, and that, country music is not just for one group of people.
Hmm.
We have made our contributions to this music as well, and
Hmm.
we deserve our seat at the table.
Hmm.
So I've had tremendous support from the hip hop and R&B world, and I was shocked. I was like, y'all do know this is a country song, right? Y'all do know this is country music.
Right.
And they all said yes, just like I talked to y'all. I was like, hey, thank y'all for having me. I'm a country
Hmm.
artist. We cool.
We cool. We cool.
Yeah,
Real,
so it was just God showing me that there's another way, and
Hmm.
that, there's a whole community out there that could embrace you and help you as well. And so from here on out, it's actually been kind of interesting, because I think the people that I'm working with now, they see how unique it is,
Hmm.
and they also see that it's authentic. They're like, dang, this girl is the real thing. Like, this is not some joke. You could go 100 years and not come across something like this again.
Hmm.
So I also think that your work ethic has to be there, man. You got to show up. You have to be persistent. You have to be patient, and you have to be able to perform. When it's time, just like when y'all say, hey, hit me with a little something, you have to be able to just do it right then and there. All of that making up excuses, I don't want to do this, I need that. Man, listen, life is going to pass you by if you think that that's how it works. It doesn't. And so you have to get out there and prove yourself. You do have something to prove when you're a new
Hmm.
artist. You absolutely do. And so I think that they recognize that work ethic in me. And plus, I'm just not gonna go away. I'm gonna be like, hey, what about my song? What about my song? And I'm gonna keep bringing you something too. I'm like,
Hmm.
listen. They're like, oh, well, what did you working on? Oh, I cut 6 or 7 songs. Here's a video too. By the way, you're just ready. You're
Hmm.
ready to jump out there. You're ready for that next thing. And I think that that would help any new artist as well. Just be ready.
Now, how much of a responsibility do you feel as a African American, not just a female, but an African American trailblazing in country music?
You see that smile that came across my face. I feel good. Let me tell you. Listen, I wanted to be the first. I really did. And then I realized that there was some other folks out there that was first before me. Uh,
And Charlie Pride, you can't ignore Charlie Pride. How you gonna ignore
no,
Charlie Pride?
I still got a story there. I got a story there now. This is what they say. This is what the old folks say.
Okay.
That I might, me and Charlie might be related.
Mm-hmm.
My granddaddy used to always say that Charlie Pride was his cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually came by the fruit market one day looking for my grandfather and left a picture and
Mm-hmm.
signed it to my grandfather. And that's back when Charlie was also playing baseball and stuff too. So there's a rumor that I was,
Mm-hmm.
so I always knew about him, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about like Linda Martell. I didn't know about her because you
Mm-hmm.
don't really hear about the black women in country music. And
Right.
so I had never heard about her, honestly. And when I went there, I remember Frankie Staten was there. Reese Palmer, she was just coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Marks, she was out in Texas. Another lady, Vicky Van, she was in California. And Trini Triggs, well, it wasn't many of us out there. It was a very few of us out there.
Well, that's
Um,
more than we know.
well, but see, these are all unspoken. These are all
Mm-hmm.
people that have been doing it for years, but we just never got the notoriety that
Mm-hmm.
all of, some of the younger ones got, and then with, what do you call it? The Voice and, American Idol and shows like that, that made it a little more prominent for people. But all that stuff, we didn't really have a whole lot of stuff like that. I mean, I was on they had one, Nashville Star, that was a very old one that they did that I competed on as well too when I was younger. And but I've always looked at it as, I want to be a really shining example for black women in country music because I want people to understand that we can sing this music. There are some of us out here who are very authentic about it and love country music. I don't want to change it. I'm not trying to make it into nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want you to understand that, I've contributed, my people have contributed to this form as well. And I really admire the music. And if you give me a shot, an authentic shot, and you don't judge a book by its color, you
Mm-hmm.
might learn something and I might surprise you. So if I can be that trailblazer, I mean, there are other women out there doing it now too, and hats off to all of them. But Adriana's gonna do her thing, and I'm always do it with a level of excellence, and I'm always gonna try to make my community proud of me.
Definitely. And what would you say to a little young girl of any color wanting to step into the country music genre or sing, period? What was the message that you would have for her?
The three P's:
Mm-hmm.
persistent,
Mm-hmm.
patient, performance,
Mm-hmm.
and the other thing is believe in yourself. Because they're gonna tell you no. They're gonna tell you you don't sound country, you're not doing this right. They're gonna give you all the reasons in the world to quit. You have to continue to believe in yourself and
Mm-hmm.
believe that you can do this. And go out there, be fearless. Be fearless about it. You see, you walk into a bar and it's a bar full of people that don't look like you. Well, get up there and see what you can do. And then also welcome more people into it. Don't be afraid to sing country at a place where you don't think it should be sang at. You know, like you go to a karaoke bar and they all singing like hip hop and R&B kind of stuff. You jump up there and sing a country song, you would be surprised how many black people really like country music. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
has somebody that they like. We just don't talk about it very often. We ain't very vocal about it. But we do, like, black people do love country music. And so you just gotta put yourself out there. Just
Mm-hmm.
put yourself out there.
Well, you have a new single out called "The Price."
I do.
What was your inspiration behind writing that, and who was the producer on that single?
Okay, so producer is I mean, he's a good friend of mine now. He's a producer, but he's also a dear friend to me now. His name is Bill McDermott,
Mm-hmm.
and he's worked with a lot of the who's who's in Nashville, Tim McGraw, you know, people like that, Brad Paisley, just big, huge Jason Aldean, huge stars, huge stars. And
Uh-huh.
so I came to him with this song that I had cut 3 times. And I'm like, I cannot get the song to work. I was like, so I understand that this is beyond my production ability. And I need
Uh-huh.
some real help because I'm tired of wasting money out here and I'm about had it with the song. And so he decided to help me with it and help me restructure it because I knew what I wanted. I was like, I want this Delta blues feel,
Uh-huh.
but I want it to be a country song too. And I want to have those Mason Dixon licks, but I also want those Delta blues licks in there.
Uh-huh.
And so he was able to fuse the two types of music together and give me the price and give me what you guys have heard so far. But the inspiration for the price, okay. So I may have been married at one point in time.
Hold on. What you mean may have been? Like, hold on, hold on, hold
I may
I
have
may
bumped
have
my
been
head.
married at one point
Yeah,
in
I made a fail. I may have failed.
time. I, you know, it may have ended. I might have been mad about a few things. Couple fires might have been sent. I said, "I'm listen. I ain't admitting to nothing." But you know,
Allegedly, allegedly,
right?
allegedly, there were some
That
things
word
that burnt down.
allegedly. But so I wanted to write about it
Hmm.
because so here's the thing. When you go through something like that,
Hmm.
sometimes you're so angry and you're so blinded by
Hmm.
anger that it
Hmm.
turns into wrath and then it turns into bitterness and it
Hmm.
takes you to a very, very dark place
Hmm.
where you might come to a crossroad in life and decide that do I proceed in this path and try to do it with remembering that this is a human being that I once loved, or do I try to destroy this person because I'm so angry? And
Allegedly.
so, yeah, right, allegedly, but you know, it as a writer, you have to have lived through some things, especially if you're going to put some type of performance, and you can't be up there singing about something that you ain't never lived or done before. And so I wanted to write something that had a positive impact, but it also gave you like a cautionary tale that if you allow yourself to go to that place, you get to you might do something that either changes you completely
Hmm.
or it causes your life to go in a very different direction that you didn't even realize. And then you end up destroying not just yourself, but that other person along with you, simply because you got upset, simply because you were mad, you know, for
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. Now, not saying that he may not deserved it, but
Allegedly.
but you have to understand that you can't let yourself get to a certain place. When you let somebody have that kind of power over you, you
Hmm.
have given them way too much, way too much. And so I wanted to write a song about that, but also give a cautionary tale about aligning yourself down a destructive path. Because once you choose it, the end result usually is not what you think it is. You're not going to feel good about what you did on the end. Nobody's going to win,
Hmm.
everybody's going to lose. So, you know, that's what that song was about. So, allegedly, does it come from real life situations? Maybe, maybe.
Yeah, because there's some things that may have happened, and may
Right.
not have happened,
May have not have, right. Right, right.
allegedly.
That's
So,
a
Yeah.
ladies and
timeline.
gentlemen,
Hey,
this right here may have happened. It may not have happened, but allegedly somebody paid the price. The price. Let's go, K Wise.
Way down in the backwoods deep, I heard a little story about Sally Ann Meeks. The old folks say she went looking for a place, y'all, a place where broken hearts go to pray. The price is high, will you pay? She said, I don't care, I want it anyway. She said, yeah, I'ma change my name, and I'm gonna make him pay. I don't care, no way, I swear to God that man gon' pay. See, Sally came home from work one day, got Meeks in bed with a woman named Grace. She said, you put me through hell, now it's your turn. You played with fire, I'ma watch you burn, yeah. Well, Sally did cost him everything, so Meeks went down to that old place. The price is high, will you pay? He said, I don't care, I want it anyway. He said, yeah, I'ma carve her name, and I'ma make her pay. I don't care, no way, I swear to God that woman gon' pay. Oh, she gonna pay. Ooh, on the last night of his death row stay, 16 years Meeks had to wait. He heard footsteps coming toward his door. He cried to the Lord, please save my soul. The price is too high for me to pay. Oh, I don't care, I want it anyway. Yeah. He said, yeah, you know my name, and you know my game. You didn't care, no way, you swore to God that you would pay.
You gonna make me do me a country song.
allegedly.
Oh, yes, yes. So that
I,
is the
I,
price. That is the
that
price.
is the price.
Yes, we shot a full length video for that song as well. It's on YouTube now. So if you guys want to go out and check that out, please do.
Now, is there a line dance with this? Because we know over there at Nashville, they line dancing all over the place.
Oh no, I know. So no, literally. So we just put the song out
Hmm.
on January 3rd. That's when we just dropped it, and then we just dropped the video on the
Hmm.
15th. So no, we haven't made a line dance yet. So if anybody wants to take that up, please do.
Hmm.
Please hit me up, send me the video, and I will absolutely post it and try to learn it. Now, don't make it too complicated though. Y'all be out there doing way too much with these line dances now. But hey, send it to me. I want to see it, please.
Well, Ms. Adrianna, I want to let you know, thank you for coming on. And I want to thank all the people from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Fleet TV for tuning in tonight. Also, GC Radio for streaming this in all those 132 countries. And hopefully everything will work out in the favor, whereas we can get you. What's that award over there at Country Music? What's that called
Oh,
at the
that
CMA?
CMA
CMT award.
award that we
CMA
see.
Yeah,
award.
yeah, the
Yeah,
CMA
that
Awards.
we that what
See
we're
you
trying to
on the
win.
red carpet at the CMAs, and
Yes,
want to
yes.
say thank you. But we want to make sure that people know where the next time they're going to be able to see you, how they can book you for a show, and how can they get that fantastic music.
Okay, well, absolutely. You can always go to my website, adriannafreeman.com. And so there's like any dates or anything like that, you would be able to see that there. We are hush hush, we are working on something, so I can't really announce it now,
Mm-hmm.
but we are working on something. So keep looking out for that. We might be coming to see some folks here pretty soon. I'm very excited about that. You can
Okay.
also, find me on Instagram. So
Hold on,
official.adrianna.freeman.
hold on, Miss Freeman. Is that your father, Ed Freeman, in the
Yes,
comics?
yes. Is that
This
dad?
man?
Hey, dad. That is my dad.
How you doing, Mr. Freeman? Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, that's him. That's him. That's him. So yes, you can do that. You can also TikTok. I don't know. I was a little upset because I thought we was getting banned there for a second, but it looks like we're back now, and that's
Mm-hmm.
at Adrianna Freeman Music. And so things are starting to take off. We just did the cover of Rolling Stone Canada, so I was
Wow.
very excited about that. They just released that on the 18th. So I mean, I was just like, I was over the moon when my team called me and told me. Well, they told me I was doing a story. So we
Uh-huh.
originally thought was, if I'm gonna be in the pages, I'm gonna be somewhere back there. But that's better than not being in the book at all. So
Right.
when they sent me over the cover, I about fell over. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So we're doing some things, and I hope to see all of y'all real soon.
Thank you so much, and we greatly appreciate you coming on. Anything that
Absolutely.
we can do to help, just let us know. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you. Will
We'd be
do.
willing. Always doors always open. Now, Kay, you know what time it is, big bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Real 360 with our special guest, Miss Adrianna Freeman. Miss Freeman,
All
like we
right.
tell everybody, you don't have a home away from home, you got a home right here on Real 360. So if there's anything we can do for you, don't hesitate to call us on, and we love to bring you back when you debuting any of your new singles, videos, and anything like that. So don't hesitate. And we look to hear great more stuff from you coming in the future.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all
All
won't
right.
have to twist my arm. I'll be here, ready to go.
If you don't mind, just hang out for
Also,
like 2 minutes.
Sure
Just
thing.
2 minutes. All right. Thank you.
Also, want to let everybody know that her latest single, which is called what? The
The
Price.
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 Not
Allegedly.
allegedly. It's called The Price.
Not
Not allegedly.
allegedly.
It's called The
Not
Price.
allegedly.
Will be uploaded on our radio station, which is the Real 360 Radio, streaming on live365live.com. So you can go ahead and listen to that, download that, and let's support this beautiful young lady and her music and her artistry in this time. And let's support like we're supposed to do with everything. And on that note, I am DJ K Wise Allah, aka Mr. Kato, the Black Superhero. And to my side right here, always if ever, my baby brother Joshua Allah, aka Mr. PhD, who?
Himself.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we out of here like last year, but not smelling like nobody's underwear. We clean and fresh here. All right. Y'all take care. Peace.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we starting to come to the end of the show. Right now, I want to take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, we want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing, and tell a friend, and keep sharing, because we're going to keep bringing y'all the real content. You know what I mean? So, DJ KY, brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace.
I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and earth. To all the human families that have planet Earth, I say peace. But to our subscribers, those who continue to watch and listen to the show each and every time we come on, I give a big shout out of love, peace, and happiness. The beast of man, woman, and child of the you and I verse. It's time for us to disperse. We bring the best, not the worst. We thank you once again for tuning in to the Real 360. Bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe, so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge and wisdom to you. Upon our show, you make it possible for us to do what we do. Now it's time I end it just the way I bring it.